All right. So tonight we're still in our theme, as we will be for the rest of the year, preparing to receive God's blessing. As I said, God was talking about how, next year, it's going to be a release where He's just going to be opening the windows of heaven, and He's going to be sending down blessings. He's going to be opening up ministries, and He's just going to be opening up everything that He put inside of us to do. The capability to do that is going to be present. What He was saying is, in order for that to happen, you got to be prepared. You can't just think, I'm going to give you this amazing task and you have no preparations, like taking a test you never studied for. So God just wanted us to get into the armor of God, because it's going to be a war. It's a spiritual warfare. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spirits and wickedness in high places. So we have to be spiritually ready. And the entire armor of God is spiritual. I know they have physical names, but it's just to bring to your remembrance, how a soldier goes to war. When a soldier goes to war, they put on certain things. And today we're going to deal with the breastplate of righteousness. And we're really just going to deal with righteousness. We can do it, the breastplate, for a little, because, the breastplate covers your heart. The breastplate covers your heart. And your heart is the beginning of where everything lies. Because what's in your heart eventually going to come out. That's why Jesus said, what comes in a man is not what defiles him, but what comes out of the man. Because out of the heart is deceitful and wickedness above all. So the heart, we got to be covered with the righteousness of God in our heart, that it might come out. There's a difference between what you do, your actions, and why you do what you do. There can be somebody who does something that is legally wrong, that to most people might seem wrong, but in their heart they didn't know it was wrong, and they were doing it for all the right reasons. Now we'll look at them and be like, they messed up, but God, just like, I knew his heart. I knew why he did what he did. And we can't judge man. That's what God says. Man looks on the outside, but God looks at the heart. God is not looking at what you do, but why you do what you do. What caused you to do it? Even if it's something good. And that's really where God gets mad at. Because when you look in the Gospels, the only time Jesus really gets mad is at the church. Jesus receives all kind of sinners, doing all kind of mess. Lady just got caught in the bed with the man she wasn't supposed to be with. They brought her to Jesus. Jesus never gets mad at her. But Jesus goes to the church and pulls out a whip. Starts whipping people in the church. Jesus starts turning everything over in the church. And these were the people that, to everybody else, seemed like they were doing right. But their heart. He said, y'all worship me with your mouth, but your heart is far from me. So we're just going to deal with the righteousness and everything that the righteousness entails. Because when you fully understand the righteousness of God that is on your life, it can change your life dramatically. It can change the way you view things. It can change the way you feel about things. And that's why, your heart. It changes the way you feel when you understand the righteousness of God that is on you. Not your righteousness, but the righteousness of God that has clothed you. A few days ago, I was running. Maybe not a few days ago, maybe about a week or two. I was running, so I'm running down Broad Street, and I'm getting close to Broad Spring Garden. And I see this building, and, God has put in me probably a couple of years ago, to open up this cafe, bookstore, and lounge, a Christian place. So whenever I see a building, I'll be like, that's a nice sounds building, or whatever, I could use that. So I run by the building, and I look at that building, I say, that building, I could use that building with my hands right there. That's the right size. All right, I just keep running. So I come past Ben Franklin High School. I look at Ben Franklin High School, I start thinking about I'm a role model. I said, I know Ben Franklin probably got some space in there. I probably can talk to somebody, use some of the space. I could probably use their gym. I could use all this in their building for I'm a role model. So I kept running. A couple blocks up, it's the old William Penn High School. I get to that building and say, this can be my building. Not because of me, but because of the righteousness of God. Because the righteousness changes what you deserve in life. See, grace is when God gives you things that you don't deserve. The mercy of God is when you do some things wrong and God don't give you what you do deserve. But righteousness is when you deserve everything.
So the building had abandoned?
The building was abandoned. The high school was closed for some years now. You know, so as I'm running, and because I've just been getting closer and closer to God and understanding, you know, everything that God has and everything that God owns, and me being his child, that whatever he has, I have. So now I'm walking in this righteousness of God, and I'm realizing what the righteousness brings to my life. So now when I run by a 4 square block building, I can look at that building and say, this can be mine. And it's not far-fetched. I'm not thinking crazy. I'm not just talking. I don't know why you talk about getting the whole building that big. No, the righteousness of God on my life says that I deserve whatever because of that righteousness. So I got to understand the righteousness of God, because the righteousness of God puts us in a certain place in him. When Jesus died, the temple was rent in two and the veil was open. And because of his blood, we are seen as righteous, and we can go into the holies of holies. Now, when we get connected, or when we are so close to God, it gives us a different power about life. Because now we're connected to the ultimate power source. You were saying, I was talking in Bible study last night about the Azusia, you know, being the power, you know, that it don't come from nowhere else. It just is. And that's, you know, from early on when God tells Moses, I am. Look, I just exist, dude. That's it. I can't fully explain everything about me. I just exist all alone by myself. And the righteousness of God puts you up close to him. And that should change how we feel about ourselves in life. I know I was talking on the line last night about having a few cousins that were, you know, big drug dealers in the city. And when I was younger, just because I was their cousin put me in a different stature in life. Just because I was their little cousin and I was up under them and people knew who I was, people looked at me differently because of them. And I also walked around differently because of them. When I was in certain places, if I knew they knew them, I could act however I wanted to act, because ain't nobody going to do nothing to me. They know my cousins, they know who they are. So because they know who they are and I know who they are, I can act a little different because nobody's going to bother me. But we're talking about God. And this is where the righteousness of God on our life comes in, to make us be able to act a little different. We don't have to act like everybody else. We can be a little different because I know whose I am, and people need to know whose I am. So if the enemy knows whose I am and I know whose I am, he can't bother me. So now I can act differently when things are going on in life and when I'm in certain places in life, because the righteousness of God has put me in a position in him where I'm no longer scared of what anybody might do to me because of who he is, and I understand where I am in him. Let's turn to Luke chapter 15. And we're going to look at the prodigal son. We're going to look at this in a totally different way. And this is what has had me excited the most. And I feel like, you know, what got me excited is going to come in the beginning of the lesson and then be gone. I'm not going to be excited anymore.
Luke what?
Luke 15, the prodigal son. But when God began to open this up, first Marcus D. Wiley preached on it for like 2 minutes. It was called Get It But You Don't Got It. Or Got It But You Don't Get It, or something like that. But after he preached on it, God just like opened it up for me. And what God was showing me just blew my mind completely. The prodigal son, Luke 15, starting at verse 11. And a certain man had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them as his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country. And he sent him unto his fields to feed swine. And he would have fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish hungry. He's starting to begin to think about his father and getting close back to his father again. I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And I'm not going to read it all. That's the beginning of the story. So he goes back to his father. And we're going to pick up at verse 25. This is after the father receives him, and the father throws a party. The father kills the fatted calf, and the father puts a robe on him, put the ring on him. So now, in verse 25, we're in Luke 15, verse 25 right now. Now his eldest son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these meant. And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound. And he was angry, and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And he answered, said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgress I at any time thy commandment. This is self-righteousness right here. And yet thou never gavest me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as this thy son, who come, which hath devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. And he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. And that's what my focus on right now. And he said, the father said unto the son, Thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. So what is he trying to put in his son's head? He's trying to get his son to realize his position in him. You are always with me. I am always with you. You are close to me. You are adjoined to me. You see all these people here? If you wanted to throw a party, you could have. If you wanted that robe, the robe was in the closet. You could have put the robe on. If you wanted to put the ring on your finger, it was in the jewelry box. If you wanted to kill the fatted calf, it was in the barn. All this time, everything that you're mad about has been accessible to you. But because you didn't understand your position in me, now the enemy can get into your heart and make you feel some type of way about what I do for somebody else. He's feeling self-righteous, but he don't have a righteousness of God. Because when you have a righteousness of God, you understand your position, and you understand that what God has is yours, and it's easily accessible. At any given moment, the oldest son could have had that robe on. There would not have been a robe for that robe for the younger son if you've been wearing it all this time. You left the robe up in the closet. You left the ring. You let the calf just walk around. These people been wanting to party, but you never imagined in your mind being able to have a party. You never imagined in your mind being able to put on this robe. So now when I put it on somebody else, you got an issue in your heart because you didn't understand where you were in me. You didn't understand. All of these things have been here this whole time. But you see, the devil works in extremes. He will take you to understand where you are to try to take advantage of it, or to not understand where you are and have you miss it. Because the younger son, he understood. The younger son said, Father, give me what's mine. Never earned nothing. The son walked up because he understood his position in the father. I understand that I am your child, and there are certain things that you have that are mine because of the simple reason I'm your child. So I can come to you and say, Father, give me all that is mine. None of it was his, but he understood where he was in him. But now the other son don't understand, so he misses the whole blessing while the other son destroys the blessing. Now we got to get in the middle of this. We got to be in the middle where we don't have self-righteousness and where we don't squander the blessing. Now in the middle was, Father, give me all that is mine, but you don't leave and go away to a far country. I am forever with you. This is what the Father is letting the other son know. I'm always with you, and whatever I have is yours. So as long as you stay with me, you cool. And what I really love about this is they don't really tell us how long the son was gone. So we don't know how long a time it was, but he blew all his blessings. He was out and feeding swine, and he just got messed up. But when he came to himself, his father still had everything. As Pastor always say, heaven ain't bankrupt. I don't know how long. It could have been 10 years. It could have been 20 years. But however amount of time it was, when he got back, his daddy still had everything. His daddy still had more than enough. His daddy still had a fatted calf. His daddy still had jewelry. His daddy still had that cloak. His daddy still had his party. We're going to throw a party for my son. Because he finally recognized that you have to stay with me when you understand who you are in me. So the oldest son was lost. And that's us. That's us. We got to realize the righteousness of God that is on our life. That puts us in a position in God where everything is accessible to us. Whereas I was saying earlier, we can look at that building and say, this can be mine. Or we can begin to claim it. This is mine. I'm going to figure out, I'm going to go talk to some people, and I'm going to let God work it out so I can have this. Because we understand who we are in him. But we can't be like the younger son and leave him. Because the younger son, he understood, but his heart wasn't right. See, the breastplate, it wasn't covering. He understood the righteousness, but his heart wasn't covered. His heart was messed up, saying, "Damn, I'm just going to take this, I'm a robe." I can't say I wouldn't have did it, but I'm just like, dang, got all that, man. We can be the man right here.
Right.
I don't gotta leave and go nowhere. I'm the man right here. But that was, what really God has shown me in that. I was just like, wow, God. So you mean to tell me, because of the breastplate of righteousness that you clothe me in, it puts me in a position where when the enemy is trying to come in my mind and tell me something I can't have, I can tell him I can have it? So you mean to tell me that the thing that you put in me that seems so big that I was thinking to myself, there's no way I could ever attain that, because of the breastplate of righteousness that you clothe on me, I can't have that? So now the enemy and people and even myself, I can't tell myself what I can't have if the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof and they that dwell therein. And Romans 8 tells me that I have been adopted into his family. And verse 17 tells us that we are joint heirs with Christ. And the Bible tells us that all things were given to the Son in earth and heaven and under the earth. So now I'm joint heirs with the one that has everything on earth and heaven and under the earth. And an heir means whatever they got, I got. So now I understand that everything Jesus got, I got.
Come on. Well, all right.
All because of the breastplate of righteousness that God has put on us. So now, when the enemy or people who are trying to come in our mind and tell us all kind of things, we put that breastplate of righteousness on. It's like, look here, my Father is ever with me, and all he has is mine. All he has is mine. And I'm not going to leave him, because as long as I stay with him, I can continue to get more. I've just been so excited about, God saying, look, about God just saying, listen, dude, if you wanted it, you could have had it. It was here the whole time. You kept walking past all of it. How many times did you walk past that calf? How many times were you in my room and you saw this robe hanging up? How many times? And how many times the blessing of God, and see, this is why we got to get prepared. This is why we got to get prepared, because how many times is the blessing of God hanging up in the room that we walk by over and over again, but we never get it? How many times is the fatted calf that God has for us in the stable, and we walking by and we just feed the sheep and leave the calf alone? How many times? That's why God is saying, y'all got to get prepared, because y'all are missing stuff.
Wow.
It's not that I'm not blessing. I'm pouring it out from heaven at where you're supposed to be, but you keep being over there. You keep missing it. I had somebody with a check with your name on it that was just standing there waiting for you to walk by. I told you to go that way, but you said, nah, I'm going to stop here. Holler at my friend. We never know. We never know. This is why God says get prepared. But look at the righteousness that God does. And Psalm 37, starting at verse 29. The righteous shall inherit the land and dwell therein forever. This is the righteousness. The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of his God is where? In his heart. None of his steps shall slide. The wicked watcheth the righteous, and seeketh to slay him. The Lord will not leave him in his hand, nor condemn him when he is judged. Wait on the Lord, and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land when the wicked are cut off. Thou shalt see it. This is all just the righteousness of God that's on us. And it just starts off saying, the righteous shall inherit the earth. But in order for you to be the righteous that inherits the earth, you got to recognize it. It's like if you win the lottery, you buy the winning ticket, you got to go claim it. They're not going to bring that money to your house. They're not going to search you out. They're going to put that money right back. And you'll have a ticket in your pocket for the rest of your life when all you had to do was claim it. And that's an inheritance. When you inherit money, you got to go. You got to go get it. There's people who, that somebody has left them money that they didn't know about, they didn't go to get, and it was just there. Like the website when you was on, the people that's owed money, and they don't know. Yep. They don't know. So it's money that's just out there, and the money don't go away because it was money that's from old stuff. The money don't go away.
I got mine.
She got hers. The money just sits there. It's just there. The blessing of God is just there. It's just there, just chilling, walking like, where he at? Where's she at?
Is the money walking?
Is the money walking? The money walking too. But the blessing of God is there. It's not leaving. It's lingering. His word, it comes down and it hovers. It hovers. It don't come back void. It's just there. Like before, I was telling you about the, what's the thing called? The kids? The what?
Mobile.
The mobile. Grab those things. They over your head. They over your head. But it says that the righteous shall inherit the land and dwell therein. The mouth of the righteous speak wisdom. And it says the law of his God is in his heart. That's this thing, it got to start in your heart. In your heart, you got to truly know and believe that the righteousness of God is on you. That no longer do I got to worry about what I did. I don't got to feel guilty. I don't got to feel unworthy. Because when you're righteous, you're not unworthy. You are worthy now. And it's not because of you, it's because of the blood of Jesus. But when you understand that, now you can walk around and talk differently. So in John, he says, whosoever is born of God does not commit sin. Not that you don't actually sin, but that you are covered in such a manner that one little sin is covered by Jesus. So when God looks at you, he still looks at you like you ain't did nothing. Again, not because of you, it's the righteousness of God that's on you. So now when you understand that, you can say, Father, can I have my inheritance? Because the righteous shall inherit the land. This is the word. Y'all, I ain't making this up. This is the word. The righteous shall inherit the land. But then it says, this is what gets me, because God is just really showing us how he's going to fight for us. The wicked watcheth the righteous and seeks to slay. The wicked is looking, I told y'all, the Tobiases and the Sanballats is looking and watching. They watching, you talking about you ready to rebuild the kingdom. You're going to build the walls of Jerusalem, and you're going to fortify the people of God. Oh, they watching, and they're going to go get letters from all the other kings, and they're going to try to come at you. But the Lord will not leave him in his hand. The Lord will not allow the enemy to do what he really wants to do to you. Because of that righteousness. It's covering you. It's covering your chest. The enemy can't get in there. He can't get in because now we understand what it is to have the righteousness of God covering us. I think about something. When something covers you, if something covers you, you're not seen. Nobody can see what's covered. So when you're covered in the righteousness of God, it's like you become the righteousness of God. You become the righteousness of God. So now when you think about what God has, and you walk to him like you are the righteousness of God, you just start picking out stuff. That. You come like a kid. I want that right there. Like, you know how the kids do for Christmas?
Yes.
They had a magazine. I want the Barbie house that's 8 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get that for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a concept. They don't have a concept that they might not be able to get it. In their mind, they ask, they're supposed to get it. You know, kids get mad when you don't give them what they want because they don't have a concept of that. They don't have a concept of asking your parent and getting no. In their mind is, I'm going to ask my parent, my mom, my dad, because I know they can get it. So it's mine. So I asked them, I should get it. To understand who they are. So we got to understand the righteousness of God that's on us, that puts us in a position where I can walk up to God like a kid and just start pointing out stuff and just expect it. But I got to understand the righteousness of God. And the wicked that will watch us and want to slay us, the Lord will not leave us in their hand. And it says, wait on the Lord and keep his way. We got to keep his way. We got to stay with him. Stay in his word. Stay in his will. And he shall exalt thee to inherit the land when the wicked are cut off. Because the wicked will not last forever. They will not reign forever. And we can't continue to look at people who are not doing the right thing and seem to be prospering and get mad at God. That's just like the prodigal son when I think about it, because he's doing the wrong thing and it seems like he's prospering. He got all this stuff. But I'm forever with you. I'm going to keep going back to that. That's how I want everybody to remember that. If anything you take from tonight, take from that. I am always with you. And all that I have is yours. I am always with you, and all that I have is yours. As long as you're close to me, everything I got, you got it. Stay close to me, you got it. But you got to ask for it. Ask and it shall be given unto you. Let's turn to Psalm 97. Living in this dark world. We're going to start at verse 9. For thou, Lord, art high above all the earth. Thou art exalted far above all gods. Lowercase g and p. Ye that love the Lord hate evil. He preserveth the souls of the saints. He delivereth them out of the hand of the wicked. Light is sown for the righteous, and gladness for the upright in heart. Rejoice in the Lord, ye righteous, and give thanks to remembrance of the holiness. I'm going to focus on verse 11. Light is sown for the righteous, and gladness for the upright in heart. The light is sown means because we're in a dark world, and we can be in a dark place in life. And God's saying light is sown, and when something is sown, it's like it's planted. So now, where you are is planted, and it seems dark, but the light is going to begin to grow. And the light is going to begin to come out of the ground, and it's what's going to lead you out of your darkness. It's going to lead you out of the darkness of the sins that so easily beset you. It's going to lead you out of the darkness of all those things that make you feel some kind of way about church. It's going to lead you out of the darkness of all those things that hurt you during your life. It's going to lead you out of the darkness of all those things that got your mind confused. It's going to lead you out of whatever darkness that you might be in once you understand the righteousness of God. Because you understand that you no longer have to be there. Where you can get close to him. It's like the man that was in the tombs. Once he got close to Jesus, changed his life. Changed his life completely. He was in a dark place, literally in the tombs, literally walking around in a funeral, not a funeral, in the grave, literally. The Bible says that he was bound. They chained him with fetters. They chained him up. They wanted to keep him in the tomb. Nobody wanted to help him. They wanted to keep him in the tomb. And the Bible says that he was cut in his face. He didn't really want to be like that. We don't really want to be stuck where we are. We don't really want to feel the pain that we feel. We don't really want to hold on to this unforgiveness in our heart. We don't really want to be mad at you forever. We don't really want every time we see you, our day is messed up. We don't really want that. And you know how he was able to overcome it? Getting close to Jesus. He didn't do anything spectacular. Jesus was available, and he went to him. the end. That's all he did. He didn't do anything spectacular. It wasn't all this, praying and laying of hands and anointing oil, even though there's nothing wrong with any of that stuff. He didn't have to read a certain amount of books of the Bible. He didn't have to learn how to speak in tongues. He didn't have to pray in prayer. He didn't have to go through the 7 steps of joy. He didn't have to be in Bible study. He didn't have to be in Sunday school. All he had to do was get close to Jesus. And once he got close to Jesus, Jesus started speaking. Once he got close to Jesus, what was in him recognized who Jesus was and began to fear and tremble because they recognized who Jesus was. And then Jesus began to speak and say, come out of him. All he had to do is get close. And we can be harboring things so much on us that we don't want to get close to God because we don't feel like, I messed up last night, Saturday. I done went out drinking. I can't go to church tomorrow. He was messed up. I can't come to church till I get myself together. I gotta start living right before I go to church. This is the enemy because you don't understand that the righteousness is gonna cover you. The righteousness is gonna cover everything that you did. So you don't gotta get yourself together. No, get to God. Get close to him, and he's gonna start saying, come out. Come out and go on the swine. Come out. Come out of my child. Come out of my daughter. Come out of my son. He's going to begin to speak because it's his righteousness that begins to cover us and bring everything out of my life. But we got to recognize that righteousness that's going to lead us out of any and all bondage that we are in. Any bondage that the enemy tries to put us in and hold us down and chain us up. The Bible tells us that when Jesus ascended, he led captivity captive. And I see everything like a movie in my head. That's just how I learn. That's how I understand. So when I think about Jesus leading captivity captive, I just got like a picture in my head. All right, I'm chained up, right? So I got the chains on. So the chains got me. So Jesus come, take the chains off me, put chains on the chains, and then just go off in the air. That's how I understand it. So now I'm on the ground looking up at what was chaining me down, being chained up by Jesus and being taken away from me. This is the way I see it. Yeah. That's the righteousness of God. Because when that righteousness comes over me, God is saying, come here, whatever that is, come on. I got you. No, get off of him. I got you. Here go some handcuffs for you. You like putting handcuffs on somebody? Come on. You like chaining my children up? Come on. I'm going to take you somewhere. And then, he ascended and he led captivity captive with him, meaning it's no longer here with me. He took it with him. It's gone. So now I'm free. Like a move. Oh, shit. But that's the way I see it. And when I think of it like that, it's like, I dare not let something have me bound that doesn't have me bound. It don't really have me bound. It's like, I was talking about the fake handcuffs. You put the fake handcuffs on, and it appears to have you locked in. But it's a little button that you can just push and just open the handcuffs whenever you want and take them off. But if you don't push the button to take them off, they stay on. You stay locked. You can't move your hands. It appears as if they got you, but if you just push the button to take them off, it comes off. If you just get close to Jesus to take these shackles off of you, they will come off. Because they don't really have you bound. It's just in your mind. The devil, whatever grip the devil has on our life, we got a button to just take it off. It's Jesus. The blood of Jesus, the righteousness of God, the breastplate of righteousness that covers us and protects us from everything. So now I'm just, soon I feel, whatever button that? Fake. Because the real was gone. The real bondage got let away. Yeah. The real handcuffs don't exist no more. The real chains don't exist no more. All I got is these play chains on me. The enemy got play chains he's putting on us. And we keep walking around like this, like we can't move, when all we got is play chains. And the enemy's sitting there laughing like, if you only knew you could take those off. If you only knew you could take those off. Because Jesus that came and took all mine. The The Bible says when he died, he went down in hell and proclaimed who he was. Yes, I am the Son of God. If any of you down here had it confused. And it says that he took the keys of hell. Devil, you can't even control your home anymore. Wow. Devil, I'm taking the keys to your house. You no longer even have control over hell. I got the keys to all this. Oh, you was making everybody scared of death. Yeah, death, where's your sting? I rose. Grave, where is your victory? I got out of that. It's nothing. And that's Jesus showing us that everything that might have you bound, even death, don't really got you bound. Even death. Because Jesus is like, listen, if the stone is over your tomb, I can get that roll back for you. I can roll that back for you. You want to just go ahead, stay in the tomb for a little bit, fold up your stuff nice and neat, and get ready to come out. And get ready to come out. Hallelujah. Let's turn to Job 36. We have about 10 minutes.
What is it?
Job 36. I don't know about y'all, but I always lose my Job. Job is before Psalms, not after.
Oh, okay. I was just about to ask, where is
Job? In my head, Job is always after Psalms for some reason. Then I got to remember that it's not. Job chapter 36.
It's right there. Oh, yeah.
Verses 7 through 11.
What to 11?
7 to 11. We ain't talking about craps, brother. We ain't talking about craps. Now, it starts right off with comfort right here. It starts right off. Watch this. He withdraws not his eye from the righteous. God gonna never stop looking at me. God is always watching over me. And you know why he's watching over you? Because he's not going to allow something to really fully take over you. He will let you rest. He'll let your kids, play, do something a little dangerous. Now, you don't just, you probably let them fall. You watch the kid doing something stupid, and you're just sitting there. Now, you're not going to walk away because you don't want them to hit their head, because you don't want to be in chopped all night, for real. So you sit there, and you just watch them. This fool. Do they really understand if they keep doing this, what's going to happen to them? So you watch them because as soon as what will really hurt them, what happened to them, you'll jump in and save them. So God says that he withdraws not his eye. He's just sitting there. And we think that, God allows some things in our life. Do you know, if we could just view what he jumped in and saved us from. If we could just view the times when God was like, what do he be thinking? Like, why would you do? I know with me, God just was like, all right, I'm getting tired of blocking these bullets. Just reaching down from heaven like, all right, no. All right, I know when he's going to come to church, but I'm tired now. He's just watching it. He's keeping us. And we don't know what he's keeping us from. My life just was so dramatic that I could just look back and say, all right, I see. I see where God kept me from. People literally was trying to kill me. So, I can really look back and be like, all right, so gun was in my face, trigger pull, no bullet come out, hit me. Okay. Must have been God. So I can see that, God never withdrew his eye from me. But with kings are they on the throne. Yea, he doth establish them forever, and they are exalted. Who? The righteous. The righteous. And it's just so awesome that God has so much planned for the righteous, and he makes you righteous to get what he planned for you. It's not that you did nothing to deserve it. He covers you in his righteousness and says, since I covered you in my righteousness, if you understand I covered you in my righteousness, I got all this for you. I got all this for you. Verse 8, and if they be bound in fetters, and be holden in cords of affliction, then he showeth them their work, and their transgressions that they have exceeded. He openeth also their ear to discipline, and commandeth that they return from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasures. If they be bound by fetters. This is the righteousness. Taking all the bondages off you. If they be bound by fetters, and if they be holden by cords, the righteousness is what's going to break all that. I'm gonna show you about yourself, and if you accept my discipline, and if you accept that you did wrong, and you repent and come to me, then you will live in prosperity. And what it says, and your years will be spent in pleasure. Your years will be spent in pleasure, all because of the righteousness of God. Let's go to Isaiah 3, verse 10. 5 minutes. We're going to do 2 more scriptures, and then we're going to get out of here. Isaiah's on the other side of Psalms. I said that because I went the other way. Isaiah chapter 3. This Bible, the stuff is written so small in this Bible that every time I grab 5 pages, it's like 76 chapters. Isaiah 3, verse 10. Say yea to the righteous, that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. The righteous, it shall be well with them. No matter what it looks like, no matter what you're going through, no matter what it feels like, the righteous, it shall be well with them. It shall be well. And they shall have the fruit of whatever they're doing. And I was speaking this on a line one night, how God was saying, the people who are connected to this ministry, they were not created to just work for somebody forever. He said there are some things that I have for them that they can just go out and do. Y'all were not created to work for somebody forever. This is what God said. But we will continually work for somebody until we understand that the righteous will get the fruit of what they're doing.
I received that.
And he was saying there are some things that people that's in this ministry that want to do, but they're scared to step out. They're scared to step out because they think if they step out, they might fail. What they want to do seems too big. They don't know how they're going to do it. They don't know all this how, and God keeps saying, get the how out of here and replace it with me. How I'm going to do it, God. How I'm going to get it, God. That's it. Beginning to end. The Alpha and the Omega. This was God, he's telling us this. I'm everything. All you need is me. Now, first of all, the only reason you want to do what you want to do is because I put it in you.
Yes.
You didn't just think of this thing. The only reason you want to do it is because I put it in you. And if I put it in you, I set up some stuff for you. Your life can be like Esther's, where nobody might not be able to see me, but I just orchestrated this whole thing. And all you got to do is just walk in it and trust me. Like Esther said, if I perish, I perish. But I just need y'all to fast with me. I need y'all to fast with me. And after we finish fasting, we're going to go in and we're going to ask for this. And that's what she did. They did. And they were blessed because of it. And God is saying, look, y'all will see the fruit of what you're doing. You will see the fruit of what you're doing. The righteous will see the fruit of what they are doing. But if you're scared to step out, you're going to be where you are. You're going to be where you are. Bottom line, if I tell you to go and to take a peek into your future, take a peek at where you're going to be at, and look at everything you're going to have, and see how beautiful it is, and then you say, but it's giants in the land. Everything that they did, we do. And we always talk so much about the Israelites, but everything they did, we do. He sent them to take a peek into their future. Because this is what I got planned for you. I've been told you I got this plan for y'all. Send 12 people to just go take a peek into what I got for you. And come back and tell everybody what it looks like. Come back and tell everybody how great it is, and then go in it. And that's when God put that stuff in us, we start thinking about it. We get to daydreaming. We like, oh man, I'm going to do this. And we be like a little kid just excited. And then we start thinking about everything that's great about it. And then, but I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to just go ahead on Career Builder. I'm going to just go ahead on Career Builder. If I can get $18 an hour, I'll be happy. And God said, oh, I'll do that for you too, but I have something better. Just take a peek into your future. Just take a peek into your future. And come back to where you are, and then walk in it. That's all he requires of us. To look at what he promised us, see it in the future, and in your present, walk towards it. The righteous shall see the fruit of what they're doing. This is the guy who's really trying to help hammer this home right now. Because I wanted to get into Genesis, but I put this down. God just really wants to hammer home the fact that, that's why we're getting prepared. This is why we're getting prepared. Because the possibilities that God is going to be opening next year and beyond are going to be endless. And if you receive it, if you can take what God has shown you and say, like Joshua and Caleb, all right, yeah, I noticed the giants, but we can beat them. Joshua and Caleb never denied there were giants in the land. Never. They didn't come back and say the land is beautiful, there's nothing in there that's going to fight us. They didn't say any of that. They went in there, they said, man, it's grapes this big. You ain't never seen a grape this big. They did. It's something about the grapes being huge.
Really?
Yeah. That's how they came back. Like, dog, it's grapes this big. Josh, Caleb, yeah, I'm telling y'all, it's grapes this big. It looks like an orange. No, it's like a grapefruit. Man, that's like y'all lying. It was like a watermelon. No, it ain't that big. But they were excited about what they saw that was good, and the other 10 were devastated about what they saw that seemed bad. But Joshua and Caleb just said, look, it's grapes this big. I want a grape. I didn't get a chance to eat one. They was chasing us and all of that. And the giants. Yeah, the giants. God got them. The giant, yeah, God got them. What y'all worried about? We just beat Og and Magog. Didn't y'all just see how we did that? Didn't we just come through the Red Sea on dry land? Didn't God just send all these 10 plagues? Didn't he kill all the firstborn but any of ours? Didn't we just see God do all this? This land is full with milk and honey. They built houses that God said are ours. We ain't got to build them. They got gardens that we can just walk in and have. Everything is already there for us. Y'all talking about giants? Y'all talking about giants? Hey, we talking about giants.
We talking about
friends. We talking about giants. We talking about God, and y'all talking about giants?